Okay, so welcome everyone. So I'm Etienne. I'm from Paris. I'm a web developer at Microsoft. As a disclaimer, I did not work on IE6, so please don't blame me for this. And other version of IE also. So, like a year ago, with a bunch of friends, we decided to create a new project, which is open source, and it's called Vorlon.js. And so I'm going to talk to you about this. And first, let's talk about the web. So here, I hope, because you wouldn't be here, otherwise, we all love the web for different reasons. It's adaptive, it's cross-platform by design, it's the most cross-platform language ever made, and it's working pretty much everywhere on connected shoes, on Tesla, on cars, and stuff like this. So it's really a good way to have some features working everywhere, and it's standard too. So that means that your code is potentially able to be run on different various sizes of screen and where you have different set of tools. So when you want to debug your website, when you want to understand an issue that you might have, you can use F12. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with this tool. You have one in every different browser available, some with strengths and some without them. And you can use console.log, for instance, to log a lot of stuff. So this is really easy when it's coming to desktop. But when you want to debug on a mobile, it's a really different story because you have to plug your, let's say a mobile, you have to plug it on your Mac or your PC, or if you want to debug an iPhone with Safari on it, you have to have a Mac, for instance. And it's not really a great story, so there are proprietary tools. And also there is an old initiative which is called WinRE, I guess it's pronounced like that, but it's a bit old, it's not really extensible or not really easily extensible. And it's a bit ugly, but that's only my test. So we created Vorlon.js. It's a remote cross-platform debugging, blah, 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 web debugging tool. We've done it using Node.js, Express, Socket.io, Passport for authentication, and stuff like this. And at first, we've designed it to help people debugging on mobile scenarios, but obviously it's working everywhere, so you can debug on a website on your computer if you want, or you can also, now I'm going to show you that, inspect or remote debug Node.js processes where it's hard to do it. So let's first start and do a collaborative demo. So I guess you all have phones, right? So give them, no. So put them out and flash this code or go to this website. It's a demo website that we have, and I'm going to pick one of you randomly. I don't know anyone here. So while you're doing this, I'm going to show it again. So here is the web page. So there is already one person, Android, there coming. So I'm just giving you a bit more time to go there. Like 10 seconds more? Okay. I only need one, so it should be okay. Okay, so we have here, there are a lot of different people already playing with it, so I don't know which one is zero, but you're putting on a lot of buttons here. So this is the Vorlon.js dashboard. It's pretty much looking like F12, really modestly, because it's not really as good as F12 tools. And on the left pane here, you have all the device from the room, or I hope from the room. And so the idea is that when you're debugging your website, you have a lot of different, let's say one Android, one iOS phone, one tablet, and you run your website everywhere. And then every website is appearing here, or every device is appearing here, and you can identify it. So I'm going to click on this button, and if you're at the top of the website, it's going to show a number normally. Does it? I don't have a lot of feedback? Yep, okay. So I'm going to choose, this is really representative of the market, there's no Windows Phone here. So I'm going to choose Android. Who is two? Number 2? No one, that's weird. Okay, I'm going to hit. So, who is number 4? No one, so what's your number?
I don't know where it is.
At the top of the website normally.
So
no. Okay, maybe it's not working. that can happen. So okay. Does anyone has a number somewhere? No? Okay, best demo ever. So, I'm going to go to my backup locally here, and if you want to see it later, I can show you. So it's pretty much working the same. So I will use Firefox here to simulate a mobile-sized device. Here, so here the Vorlon.js dashboard. If I go there, I can go on the same website as you did, which is this one, and there is F12 appearing, or F12-like, and I can highlight some elements that you can see on the right. I don't know if you see, yes, it's okay. So I have like, can see that this element is here on the screen. I can click on it, I can edit the content, and it's editing through Socket.io directly, so there is a direct connection between the dashboard and the website. Normally it works also when you are not on the same computer. And you have the styles for every element. So if I click there, I have the merging, I can edit it, like pretty much stuff that you do in F12. So it's live editing, and you can test when you see an error, and you can say, okay, maybe it's this, I'm going to try to change this, and if it's working well, then you can replicate this in your code. So you have a bunch of different stuff. I'm not going to go through everything here, but we have the interactive console. So whenever you have an error, we have here buttons to simulate this. So let's say I want to trigger an error. So it's going to catch all the console.something and send it back to the dashboard here. And we also have complex elements support like this one. And when you have object with data in it, you can drill down. You can also run code. So I'm going to do a simple thing here, like you have in F12. So I can say anything. It's going to run the code on the websites and on the device that you're currently debugging. We added each of the tabs here are plugins, and we add one with which is called Modernizer, which is using the Modernizer library to show you what features are available on the device that you're currently testing on. So here you can see that there are some stuff, a lot of stuff there, some missing, and maybe it's because of this that your website is not working on, let's say, Android 4 point something. So that can be useful. We also have an object explorer showing you everything that you have in Windows. Under Windows, so all the object with the data. So there is a close variable which is false, for instance, and you can drill down all the tree here. We have also network monitor, which is not going to show correctly on this resolution, but it's something that shows you every resources that has been downloaded with the a waterfall here, which is much prettier when you have like a high resolution screen. And we also have Resource Explorer, where you can see the local storage on the device. For this session, the session storage, the cookies, you can edit them, add some more data if you want to try, and add more. So you can add a new cookie to test if something wasn't working, maybe a cookie is missing or something like this. So we also have something called My Device, showing you information about the resolution of the screen, of the viewport, and you have like dot per inch, and really a lot of stuff there to help you. We also have a plugin which is using QUnits to run your tests upon the current device you're running the website. And we have a lot of others that I didn't activate here. Because you can choose that whenever you want to activate or disable a plugin, it's done here. So here you can see all the plugins that we have. I didn't show you this one and this one on purpose. I'm going to show you them just a bit later. And so we have a web, a 3D debugger for Babylon.js. We have an Office add-in debugger and also an Angular inspector, which is showing you the scope that you have in Angular. So it's basic one, but it's still doing the job. And the last one that I didn't show you is best practice. So this is a plugin which is running some tests upon the code that is running and on the context of the device that you're currently running on. And so here you can say that we are missing some prefixes in CSS. We miss one of WebKit and one for Mozilla. And we also have the most interesting here is that we have integrated a library which is called Axe from a company in the US. And it's running accessibility tests upon your website. And for instance, here it's telling me that this paragraph has not enough color contrast upon the elements which is just behind it. So color blind people, or not blind people, people not seeing correctly might have trouble to see them. So you have to do some changes there. So this is pretty much a tour of all the plugins that we have. The idea is not to go deeper on each of them, but just for you to understand how it works mainly. So, and I don't know why their live demo didn't work, but that's okay. So how to use it? It's not really that complicated because we like easy stuff. And so every developer, web developer knows NPM, so you just have to go and say npm-g install-g Vorlon, and you're in Vorlon. This is going to run Node.js server, or at least two Node.js server, but I'm going to talk about the second one later. The first one is generating the dashboard. So this is where you're hitting to get the dashboard, and also generating the JavaScript file that you have to reference in your page. I'm going to show you that later. And so you can do this, or you can clone the GitHub repo if you want. You can also auto-deploy. So there is a word in French here too. Forgot to translate something, but then you can auto-deploy to Azure, and you have paths in your back. So if you want to try this, feel free. Or you can use also, we did a Docker image, so you can create deploy a Docker container where everything is in there. And once you have the server deployed somewhere, you just have to reference the script, which is the client part of the script, which is collecting the data and sending it to the server. And this is just one line, and everything is done for you. The connection to the server, everything is really, that's all you have to do. You can also, it can be simpler because you have to change the website you want to debug. So if it's into production, you will have to change the website and then deploy it again to be able to test it. We've created, this is the second Node.js process. We've created a simple HTTP proxy. So you can just type your website there, and you will be able to debug. I'm going to show you this in demonstration. So if I go to the GitHub repo, which might be here somewhere, GitHub, there. You can watch the repo, you can add a star if you want to. We have here a button which is deployed to Azure, which is using a JSON file. So you just have to click there, and then you have 3 steps with a really simple website. It's going to deploy everything for you. So it's really, and you can deploy on a free tier. So you can have a Vorlon.js online somewhere freely. So this is the first way. The second one is obviously to install using npm, and once you have it, you can just say Vorlon there, and it's going to run so it's not really easy to read, but it's going to start the server, and then you will be able to use it. And once it's done, so there are some errors, but that's normal, it's an open source project. And what you have to do in your client or the web page that you want to debug is simply to add this. So just this line of code. And here I've deployed it locally, so it's going to connect locally. But if you deployed it on Azure or somewhere else, you just have to type the URL of the dashboard plus the Vorlon.max.min. whatever you want, .js. So this is really simple. When you have this running, you can use, so I'm going to run it locally, npm start, okay. There you go. And I'm going to show you the proxy. So where is my, okay, here. So if I go on this website, like it's the same URL, but with HTTP proxy there, just after. It's going to show you this nice page, and you can enter whatever you want. So I'm going to enter something you are sure I didn't modify because I cannot, which is Google. And when I click there, it's going to open two web pages, two tabs. The first one is not working, so. And I didn't start to write code, so that's really, okay, I'm going to try this again. I'm not afraid. I'm going to change browser. This is not related, but just psychological. So, let's say there, click there. There's a blocker of pop-ups, thank you. So, authorize pop-ups. Okay, it's working. Thank you, Mozilla. Okay, it's not really related to the browser, I can assure you. So, here I have the same experience that I had before, but I didn't have to change, obviously I didn't change Google to add my Vorlon.js script. You can agree on that. But what it's doing is that the query here is a bit different. It's going through the local proxy and injecting on the fly the script tag, so you can debug even a website that you don't have on your computer, or that you don't have the code for. For if you have an issue with a website that's not working on your phone, you can use this if you want and send a great feedback to the team that is creating the website. So this is one of the things we have. Okay. So when we created this, it was really intended to help people debugging the web front stuff, like you have seen. What a great thing about JavaScript is that, you know that, but it runs also on the server with Node.js. And we've created a module of Node.js, which is Vorlon Node Wrapper, that you can use, and it's going to help the Node.js process appear on the dashboard, and you will be able to use some of the plugins, not all of them, obviously, because DOM Explorer, for instance, will not be working because there is no DOM on Node.js. But you have some of the plugins, and you can debug this. So you install it like this, pretty straightforward, and then you have to add this code on the beginning of your app. So you require a Vorlon Node wrapper, and then you just say Vorlon.starts. You give the URL of the dashboard, the name of the dashboard, and it can be synchronous, like here, so it's waiting before running your code, or it can be asynchronous, like this, and you have then a callback function here. When you're connected to the server, it's going to run the code in the callback. So how is it working? First, I'm going to show you a really easy demo that I have. It's a Node.js app there that I'm running. And so here, so I'm not really a designer, so I'm sorry about your eyes. But I did like this, CSS filter trick that I'm really proud of. So it is really reading a lot of, it's reading my a text file somewhere, and it's displaying all the different technology that I like. How is it working? It's really just for demo purposes, but it's working like this. There is a route here in which I read from the file system synchronously, so it's not really good, but that's okay, and I'm reading something from a file somewhere there. So I've deployed this. Here I can use a debugger locally, like this is Visual Studio Code, but there are plenty of them, to go step by step and understand the problems and see the console.log, for instance. But when I've deployed that on a server, let's say I've done this already here, I have a Vorlon.js instance here, which is this one, and there is nothing there for now. But when I'm going to launch the process here, so npm start, it's going to launch my website, and there is a Node.js something appearing here, in where I can see, so I only have 3 plugins because all of them does not work for Node.js, and you can see the global variable here that I have. So I'm going to try and connect to this website. Okay, not this one, this one. So, and it is empty right here. I didn't really do myself the deployments, or maybe there is an issue. There is one, obviously. And here in the log, so I don't have to connect to the server at all if I don't hear. It's for demo, I just started it, but I don't have to connect it through it. And I see that there is an error, which is it doesn't find this file. And because the variable here is not correct, there is an S at the end of the file. So I can go there in Node.js console and say, just to test it's really this, global.text file path equals, and I'm going to change it to /data/text.txt. So I'm just running simple JavaScript code. And it's changing it in the running instance of Node.js. And if I go back there, and I refresh this, normally, okay, it's working. So you can see that I've changed some stuff on the running Node.js instance remotely, and now that it's working, I can just change the code or rename the file or do whatever I need to do. So it's working for web front development and also for back development. And so the core team, we are 4 people in the team doing this as a side project on our spare time mainly. And there are a community starting to build around it. We only created in the core team 4 of the plugins. All the other ones have been done by people from anywhere on the planet. And this is made easy because we have thought of this plugin model at the beginning of the project. And we didn't write the documentation for this because we're developers, so we don't really write documentations. But I've written a blog post here. So if you want to create a new plugin or something dedicated to some companies are doing this, are telling us they're doing like private plugins for like really specific things in their websites. If you want to do it, it's like standard web development. So in standard websites that you have HTML, then you have JavaScript, and JavaScript is interacting with the HTML inside the page. Vorlon.js is a bit different because everything is running through a server, but you don't have to really take care of this because we've done a lot of work for you if you want to create a plugin. So there is, on the right, it's the debugged website, the one that I want to inspect or analyze. And all the data that it's collecting is sent through Socket.io connection to the dashboard. And on the dashboard, there is the dashboard version of the plugin which is running, and it's getting all the data and displaying it on the specific space dedicated to it on the dashboard. So I'm just seeing how much time I have left. 10 minutes, perfect. So I'm going to show you a bit of live code because I like to live dangerously. So I'm not going to run through all the code, but you have, if you go on the repository, you have a README where everything is explained. But mainly you have 2 folders there. The server one is where you have all the code related to the server, and the plugin ones is everything related to the plugin. So when you want to create a plugin, you can choose to create it using JavaScript or TypeScript. It's the same because at the end it's going to generate JavaScript. And we are developing using TypeScript. I'm not going to debate this right now. If you want to ask me why we're doing this, we can chat about this later. But here is the code for all the plugins. And I'm going to create a new one, which is going to be called DEVit there. So you have to first add a folder there, and then you have to add 2 files. The first one is the client part, the one which is going to be sent through the Vorlon.js file that is generated by the server, so where you collect all the data and do all the stuff. So I'm going to create this one. So it's usually Vorlon.your plugin name, so DEVit.conf.clients.ts, because I'm going to do it in TypeScript, but you're going to get the ID. And there, so I'm not really you're going to see I code really fast because I film like this. Okay, I have some tricks. So what is it doing? So if you're not familiar with TypeScript, it's not really an issue. The only thing that you need to know here is that with TypeScript, we have classes, and with the classes, we have inheritance. So all the complicated stuff related to Socket.io communication and all this is implemented in a client plugin class. So you don't have to worry about this. You just have to extend it. And so here is my DEVit conf client class, which is the client part. I'm calling the constructor with the name, and there is an ID. And then there are three methods that are really important. The first one is refresh, which is going to be called by the dashboard every time it wants to get new data. You don't have to take care of this. And here, the functional code is really easy because I'm just getting some information about the width of the current viewport and also the user agent. So this is that's standard JavaScript code. And then I'm calling this helper that we provide in the base class, which is send to dashboard. So you want to send an object to the dashboard part of your plugin. You just call this with the object. It's going to be sent through socket.io. And then there is a start client side, which is going to be called when you click on the device on the dashboard, and then the dashboard is shown on your plugin is shown on the dashboard. So it's going to be called by the system automatically. And here, what we do is simply that we call refresh the first time, and we add an event listener on the resize, so it's going to update and send new data to the dashboard when you resize the screen. And there is a method here we don't use in this plugin, which is with a really long name, like unreal message received from dashboard side, which is called obviously when the dashboard is sending a message to the clients, because you can do this way also. I'm going to speed up a little bit. So Vorlon. So now you have to create the dashboard parts of this, and I made like a huge mistake here. Dashboard.ts, okay, yes, I want to. And here I also have some code already prepared. DEVit. If only can be always like that when you code. So here it's a bit different. It's extending the dashboard plugin class, not the client one. And we have, so I call here the constructor of the class, the mother class, and I give it an information which is that it's going to search to display in the dashboard in the tab. It's going to display something from an HTML file called control.html, and then we have a bunch of stuff. I'm going to here in the start dashboard side. So when the plugin has to begin working, I'm using a function which is an helper that we provide also, which is insert HTML content async. It's going to take the control.html file and load it in the dashboard. And when it's finished, it's going to call you in a callback. So here I have the callback, and I'm getting some paragraphs that are on the HTML file. It's not really complicated. And so here, each time I receive a message from the client, which is sent by send to dashboard, I'm just updating the paragraphs on the HTML file. So we just need to add the HTML file, which is control.html. And so I have also a helper, and it's almost finished. So it's really simple HTML with 2 paragraphs and blah, blah, blah. And the last thing that I need to do, and hopefully it will work, is that in the server, in the config.json, where all the plugins are declared, I just have to add the one that I created. Okay. So with folder name and stuff like this, blah, blah, blah. And when I've done this, I have to recompile everything because we have TypeScript compilation and stuff like this. So we're using gulp. I don't want to go in the debate of gulp vs grounds. We're using gulp because it's better. And I have an error. That's the karma. Oh yes, because I didn't save the... So gulp is not saving, it's not helping you with the dump error that you can do manually. So, just compiling. 5 minutes, thank you. Everyone has a joke while we wait? No? Okay, mine was bad too. So yeah, so npm start, and pray with me. I'm going to go here, there, and to refresh this page. Okay, so this is the fresh Vorlon page. I'm going to show the client here. So localhost, this is the test page, so everything is working. And I don't have it because I'm thinking I have some cache somewhere. It's not displaying, so okay. I love it when demos don't work. So here it is. And here I have the data, the widths. It's not really that there's no design and stuff, but there's the data here. And when I redimension this, you can see that it changed the widths. So it's really easy to create a new plugin, get data from the client, send it to the dashboard, and display it and play with it. So feel free to create one if you want to. OK. So what are the next step of the project? Because it's open source. Feel free to join if you want to even work on the core of Vorlon. You're really welcome. So we want to add more features for debugging on the Node.js aspect. We're working on a Node.js dedicated plugin that's showing information from environment variables and stuff like this. And also, we are working on an Express plugin showing you the routes that you're hitting with while using your version. We are also working on a SaaS version, so something like Vorlon.js something. You can create a Vorlon.js server on the fly and use it directly. Also stuff in the area of Vorlon.js on production. I didn't talk about this, but don't use it in production. There is a lot of Socket.io exchange, and it's not really safe to do it. Use it really only on test environments. Browser sync integration and a lot of different stuff. So it's a live project, still running, and we hope that it might help you, and don't hesitate to jump and work with us. So to know more about Vorlon, it's a French word, but the article is actually in English, so don't worry. You can go on Vorlon.js.io, you have videos there, and really a small documentation, but still there is one. And as a reminder, you all have Azure Pass for like 1 month, $100, something like this in Azure. So if you want to just deploy it on Azure, you can go through this and use it. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I do have a question. Is the name somehow connected to the Vorlon, this language speak by Parisian suburbs?
No, it's actually, in the team there is a fan of the TV show Babylon 5. And this is like people's in Babylon 5. I never watched it, but it's really fun. It's also the person that created the Babylon.js 3D plugin. Yeah.
First of all, one. Second, let's say you're debugging on a website, okay? Just a front end, JavaScript, and it has.
Could you please talk a bit, closer? Yeah, we.
Closer. So you're debugging a mobile website, okay? And it has a very nasty JavaScript library. So it breaks holds execution of all the scripts, the JavaScript. So if you could open the console in a mobile, you will see that no other JavaScript is run because you have an exception for big one. Is there a way to get information about that in Vorlon?
Yes, so that can be helpful. The only thing that we are trying to be referenced as soon as possible in the process of loading the page, but if there is something happening before that, you won't see anything in Vorlon, but it can help you in some cases.
So you have to be in the head.
It's in the head. No, we are taking care of everything. You can reference it at the bottom. Yeah, but if you prefer, you can do it on the top. I only see lights there, so.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can Vorlon be used in applications that are deployed to Google Play or App Store?
If the application is developed using JavaScript technology, yes. So if you're using Cordova, for instance, it might work.
Yeah, I mean, Apple won't have a problem with this.
So, I don't think, because it's your code, so you can send data and get data. I never tried, so but technically it will work.
Actually getting data from the client's device. Maybe it's against Apple's policy, no?
Maybe you can set up Vorlon to use HTTPS, and I think that in apps you can say that this is like a whitelist of different pages that I can ask, but I'm not really sure of this, so I need to check. Maybe you can give me your mail or something like this later. I can send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, any last question? Okay,
Who wants to try it? Like not yet, but later. 1,000 people, approximately. Cool.
So well done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.